Hey guys, today I'll show you a zombie horror thriller TV series named Z Nation, Season 3. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The drama unfolds in an era dominated by a zombie apocalypse where humanity has long been plagued by the zombie virus. Anyone bitten by a zombie or who dies will turn into one. However, on an island in the alien zone, the wealthy live a luxurious life free of zombies. A mysterious person on the island contacts a bald man known as the Kidnapper, who operates outside, demanding that he quickly complete the task of abducting the virus researcher. The Kidnapper has already captured many important people in his vehicle. After some time, the Kidnapper arrives at a sanctuary to flex his bald head and demands that the residents hand over the researcher. The residents, armed and unwilling to cooperate, stand their ground. During this standoff, a young local boy hiding nearby observes the situation. Suddenly, a zombie appears, attracted by his shining head, but the Kidnapper uses rubber bullets to knock it out. The boy then throws stones at the Kidnapper, but is quickly subdued by him. The boy's sister rushes to check on him. Concerned for her brother's safety, she demands that the Kidnapper leave. He warns the residents that they must hand over the researcher later, and then takes the boy away, temporarily leaving the sanctuary. On the road, the boy, lying in the back of the vehicle, wakes up and discovers a zombie also confined there. Terrified, he breaks open the rear door and flees. While running for his life, he bumps into the sniper and falls. The sniper then takes the boy and they regroup with others. As a horde of zombies appears nearby, everyone rushes to fight. The boy, frightened, hides while the sniper continuously shoots down the zombies. After an intense battle led by the sniper, all the zombies are eliminated. The boy then informs the group about his encounter with the bald Kidnapper at the sanctuary. Meanwhile, the team is still en route to the disease control center. Roberta is reluctant to abandon their mission to help the sanctuary. Suddenly, the boy snatches the sniper's gun and runs away. The sniper chases after him but is ambushed by the boy's elder sister. The sniper quickly retaliates, knocking her down. As they scuffle, others arrive at the scene to intervene. After recognizing each other, the elder sister reveals that the residents are about to be murdered. Using binoculars, another woman sees that the sanctuary has vehicles and supplies. Ultimately, Roberta decides to retrieve these supplies from the sanctuary in exchange for protecting the villagers. After arriving at the sanctuary, the researcher meets with everyone. He is willing to provide cars and supplies and hopes Roberta will guide the residents in their resistance. Meanwhile, Murphy, staying outside, senses eerie thoughts calling out to him. He leaves his zombie daughter with Cassandra and goes to investigate the situation. Sometime later, the Kidnapper returns to the sanctuary, demanding once again that the researcher be handed over, threatening to destroy the place if they refuse. However, the group is unwilling to cooperate, and the Kidnapper, not wanting to kill anyone, agrees to give them more time to decide, postponing the final decision until the next day. Subsequently, the sniper and a few others decide to stand guard outside to ensure safety. Meanwhile, the group begins planning to fortify the sanctuary even further. Roberta examines the sanctuary's map, suggesting that the lab could be filled with traps. The researcher informs her that the lab has been contaminated and is inaccessible. Elsewhere, Murphy reaches the sanctuary's lab and discovers it houses many unusual types of zombies. They communicate with him telepathically, begging Murphy for some zombie mercy and to help them find release. Just then, the researcher arrives at the lab, intending to remove Murphy from the scene. Roberta also enters and inquires about what's happening. An angry Murphy reveals that the lab is like a torture chamber for zombies, where they continuously scream in agony and in chicken voices, yet no one helps them. The researcher is skeptical that zombies can speak like chickens, but Murphy reveals the names of the zombies. Eventually, the researcher shares the backstory with everyone. It turns out before the zombie outbreak, he and his wife were both biological experts. They successfully developed a cell that could combat the zombie virus after the outbreak, but it had severe side effects, transforming humans into mind zombies. These mind zombies retain human consciousness, but are disfigured by the infection and unable to speak. Thus, the mind zombies in the lab are his wife and other doctors. In the evening, while Roberta is inspecting the area outside, she suddenly spots the Kidnapper. She follows him, preparing to ambush him. After catching up, she holds him at gunpoint, but the Kidnapper resists continuously. She fires her gun only to realize it's a zombie disguised as the Kidnapper. The real Kidnapper then ambushes her from behind, knocks her out, and takes her away. He ties Roberta up in his kidnapping vehicle and removes a scarf from around her neck. Back at the sanctuary, Addie found Roberta's weapon outside and suspected that she had been kidnapped by the kidnapper. Concerned that they might not be able to defend the sanctuary, the group continued with their preparations to counterattack. Meanwhile, the sniper and the little boy left their combat position and moved away without noticing each other, continuing their surveillance. Soon, they spotted the kidnapper's bald head and his group approaching, and quickly alerted the people in the sanctuary. After the kidnapper got out of his vehicle, he brandished Roberta's scarf to intimidate the residents. Doc stepped forward to negotiate, demanding confirmation that Roberta was still alive. The kidnapper used a communicator to contact his man, who handed the phone to Roberta. However, his man was then attacked and knocked to the ground by the little boy using a slingshot. Roberta then spoke over the radio, informing everyone that she had successfully escaped. Enraged, the kidnapper decided to launch the first wave of attack. When the cargo truck's door opened, a large number of zombies rushed out and attacked. Doc then ordered everyone to open fire. Despite continuous shooting, the zombies breached the city walls. Fortunately, the internal defenses held, repelling the zombies and eliminating them. Meanwhile, Roberta and a few others ran back to the sanctuary, only to encounter a large number of zombies which separated the sniper and the little boy from the group. After regrouping with everyone, the kidnapper launched the second wave of attack. This time, many zombies wearing helmets appeared, whipped and controlled by his minions from behind. After being whipped, the helmeted zombies charged forward wildly. The group fired shots in panic, but they couldn't penetrate the helmets to kill the zombies. Addie then began to load the cannon, urging everyone to clear the area. After the cannon fired, its massive explosive force knocked down all the zombies. Although the subordinates controlling the zombies died, the kidnapper personally took to the field. The helmeted zombies gradually regained consciousness, and the kidnapper shot off the chains binding the zombies. Everyone immediately rushed to the lab for the next wave of defense. Everyone entered wearing protective face masks, and the mind zombies also assisted in the defense. The helmeted zombies and subordinates also entered, conducting a thorough search while the kidnapper waited outside. The little boy launched an attack with his slingshot, shooting a gear into the kidnapper's chest, but it failed to knock him down. The sniper quickly took the little boy and fled the scene for safety. Back in the lab, the mind zombies began hunting the villains. Roberta opened the door, confirmed the presence of mind zombies, and easily killed the enemies. The sniper, hiding in the warehouse, was attacked by a resident who had turned into a zombie. After killing the zombie, the kidnapper also entered the warehouse to investigate, picked up some duct tape from the ground, and took the COVID mask from the body. The researcher saw his wife's figure passing by and quickly carried his severely injured wife to a table. He looked at her wounds with deep sorrow. Then he removed his protective mask and kissed his dying wife without a hormone yoga session and helped her to ease her pain. Just then, the wall was blasted open and the kidnapper appeared to flex his bald head. He stated that he only wanted to take the researcher away. The researcher decided to end his own life with a gun, but found there were no bullets in it. The kidnapper then knocked the researcher unconscious and took him away from the scene. Murphy, with his zombie daughter by his side, did not want to get involved in any unnecessary struggles. The mind zombies gradually killed the kidnapper's men, ending the battle. Elsewhere, the sniper was pursued by a large number of zombies, and the little boy ran away with him. Eventually, they were surrounded by zombies, and the little boy managed to escape alone, leaving the sniper behind. In the lab, Addie swung her big bat continuously, successfully killing the helmeted zombies. Afterward, she regrouped with everyone, and they left. After surviving the crisis, both enemies and residents perished in the battle. On the kidnapper's side, he transported all the kidnapped individuals onto a plane. He then received a new list and continued to execute the next mission. After some time, the sniper returned to meet up with everyone but didn't see the little boy. He reported that the little boy had been killed by zombies. The boy's sister immediately ran to check, and the sniper tried to follow and assist but was stopped by her. The sniper watched helplessly as the girl charged alone into the zombie horde to her death. Elsewhere, many VIPs were kidnapped to the so-called alien zone. After removing their hoods, they were shocked by the world before them. Meanwhile, Roberta was surrounded by a mysterious military force. Everyone was knocked down and had their hands tied. The commanding officer of the troops inquired about Murphy's whereabouts. While she was checking her data, Roberta signaled everyone to act. She successfully seized a weapon and held the officer hostage. However, others failed to seize weapons except for Addie, who managed to pull out a gun. Seeing the situation turning against them, Roberta surrendered her weapon. Just then, zombies appeared, and the military quickly engaged, easily eliminating a large number of zombies with heavy firepower. On Murphy's side, after disembarking, luggage was transported, and the sniper was also rescued. He joined Murphy, and they drove to the next location. Elsewhere, the military base prepared to airdrop supplies. The military officer led everyone to the drop site. After a while, Murphy's team's vehicle broke down. The sniper spotted zombies in the distance and opened fire. More zombies with strange weapons rushed in. Murphy used mind control but realized the enemies were not zombies but wild men armed and attacking. They easily killed the captain, and the soldiers struggled in battle. Murphy then ordered the sniper to kill all the wild men. At that moment, Murphy also saw the airdropped supplies above. Back to Roberta, as they were nearing the drop site, the wild men spotted them, and everyone moved towards the supplies. In another incident, the communicator from NSA was rescued. After waking up, he found an undressed woman beside him, but he had no dirty urges and fell back asleep like a pig. After the army shot the zombies, an even larger horde attacked Roberta's group. They immediately deployed traps, throwing them into the crowd. The system automatically scanned the heads and instantly fired bullets, killing all the zombies. As more zombies rushed towards the military officer, the mafia boss immediately knocked one down, and Roberta crushed its head with her stinky foot. Following this, Roberta and her group gained the trust of the military officer. After untying their hands, they talked and learned about each other's situations. It's revealed that the officer was a virus expert on a mission to save the world, aiming to obtain Murphy's blood to create a cure for the zombie virus. Murphy suddenly heard strange noises and discovered a massive horde of zombies all rolling together. He sensed that the zombies were biting each other, as there weren't many living humans left. The zombies could only survive by consuming their own kind. At this point, Murphy decided to create a world of half-zombies, immune to the threat of zombies and without the issue of cannibalism. He then ordered the sniper to shoot the zombies that were eating each other. After some time, the military took a short break in the woods before upgrading Roberta and her group with better weapons and gear. The military also designed a stronger baseball bat as a weapon for Addie, complete with an electric shock feature. Addie was thrilled by her new weapon. The communicator had been asleep for several days and finally regained his strength. After waking up naked, he found the woman watching him. She had a habit of listening to the radio and knew about the communicator, being a devoted fan. The fangirl informed him that he had been found frozen in the snow a few days ago, and she brought him back, stripped him naked, and used her body heat to help revive him. As Roberta's group approached the drop site, they saw many zombie-like individuals running into a building. The mafia boss informed them that these were wild men, more terrifying than zombies due to severe brain damage and high aggressiveness, attacking both humans and zombies. The group then entered the building, shooting nearby zombies, and upon reaching the drop site, they found many bodies. Suddenly, they encountered a large group of wild men. The soldiers threw traps at them, but the wild men were not scared and threw the devices back. Everyone hurriedly took cover, but soldiers who couldn't hide were shot and killed. The mafia boss used a gun knife to kill a wild man, and Roberta kept firing. Eventually, they eliminated all the wild men. While moving forward, the remaining soldiers were bitten and killed by zombies in a surprise attack. The military officer was devastated by the loss of all her team members. As Addie struggled against a giant zombie, the mafia boss shot at it, and a soldier who had turned into a zombie woke up. The officer shot him violently to provide euthanasia. They later discovered that all the airdropped supplies had been stolen. The heartbroken officer felt all hope was lost, but Roberta suggested they find Murphy, believing there was still a chance to create a cure for the zombie virus. At that moment, Murphy drove up, revealing that he had taken all the supplies. He informed them about the submarine situation, explaining that the disease center only served the wealthy from the alien zone. However, Roberta told the military officer that they also had the capability to create a cure and could save the world. But Murphy was unwilling to cooperate and decided to establish his own nation of half-zombies, inviting Roberta to join him. She refused and threatened Murphy with a gun to provide his vaccinated blood. Just then, the sniper, who was hiding on the rooftop, fired a warning shot at Roberta. As a large group of wild men approached from a distance, they had to let Murphy go and quickly flee the scene for their shitty lives. Later, Murphy stopped by a building to pick up the sniper, who, unbeknownst to others, had been bitten and controlled by Murphy. After some time, Roberta found a car by the road and prepared to plan to capture Murphy and produce an antidote. Meanwhile, on the list of men to be kidnapped, the kidnapper's next target was Murphy. Later, a couple in their car felt overwhelmed with sadness as they prepared to spare their gravely ill daughter from turning into a zombie upon death. Suddenly, Murphy opened the car door to check on them, then bit their daughter, allowing her wounds to heal and helping her survive the critical condition. Roberta used a tracker to locate Murphy, but was interrupted by zombies. Addie killed them with her bat and found that Murphy had removed the tracker and attached it to one of the zombies, making it impossible to locate him. Deciding to gather supplies nearby first, the group soon discovered a car surrounded by a large horde of zombies with a postal man with glasses trapped inside. As they prepared to fight the zombies, the postal man loudly pleaded not to harm them. He then distracted the zombies by throwing meat chunks elsewhere and led Roberta and her companions to a nearby shelter. After temporarily avoiding the zombies, the postal man agreed to provide supplies under the condition that no zombies be killed, believing they were once friendly residents. Everyone agreed and took refuge in the post office. The postal man offered to supply them and asked for help to start the postal van. The group split up. Addie went to test communication devices at the radio station, while Roberta and others reached the van, only to be followed closely by a large number of zombies. They quickly pushed the van, trying to start it, and once it started, they immediately drove off. Addie successfully repaired the communication equipment. The military officer decided to first contact her country's base. When she connected to the base's signal, only melancholic music played, which deeply saddened her because this music was a secret code indicating that the base had fallen. Addie then tried to contact the communicator, but received no response. The communicator's equipment was too outdated to send messages back. Later, everyone regrouped and drove back to the post office. Suddenly, the postal man got out of the car to help a zombie lady stuck on the vehicle. This attracted a large horde of zombies. Surprisingly, the zombies ignored Roberta's group and only chased after the postal man, which Roberta found very suspicious. Meanwhile, Murphy arrived at the museum and decided to set it up as a base for a half-zombie state. Back with Roberta, they met up with the postal man at the post office. Doc asked the man why the zombies were constantly chasing him, but the postal man refused to explain. A physical check showed nothing unusual about the postal man. He offered to provide food but asked Roberta to leave immediately. The postal man led everyone into the basement. While searching for the keys, they discovered many corpses nearby, all shot with bullets. Doc asked who had killed these people, and it turned out that the postal man was the slaughter. He then suddenly opened the door, releasing a swarm of zombies. Everyone retreated in fright, and the postal man hid himself in a room and locked everyone in the narrow basement where they couldn't take their weapons for full use. So the mafia boss used a stamp to crush the zombies' heads. After a struggle, they managed to eliminate all the zombies. Upstairs, the military officer discovered that all the zombies had been murdered. Suddenly, the postal man took her hostage with a gun and brought her to a room filled with terrifying torture tools. It turned out that all the townspeople had been brutally killed by the postal man, which is why the zombie residents relentlessly pursued him. The officer then threw a glass jar at the man and used a knife to pry open the door, allowing a flood of zombies in. The postal man was ultimately devoured by the zombies, dying amidst his chicken screams. The group then drove to the next location. Back to Murphy, the couple he had saved came to visit. They thanked him for saving their daughter and expressed a desire to become citizens of the half-zombie state, making Murphy feel like a savior. After some time on the road to the town, Roberta's group saw many zombies hanging in the air, and notices on the walls stated that this was a way to punish thieves. Evildoers would be hanged and turned into zombies. Suddenly the ropes broke, and the zombies fell and attacked. The group fought fiercely, killing all the zombies. Just as they were about to leave, a stranger took them hostage, mistaking Roberta for a member of the Red Hand Gang, a newly established gang that cruelly punished evildoers. Roberta clarified that they were just passing through and had no association with the Red Hand Gang. The stranger then described the gang leader's distinctive feature, a tattoo of a child on his arm. Suddenly, the group was attacked by the Red Hand Gang, and they quickly retreated. Over at Murphy's place, the couple has joined the new state with the husband appointed to be the state's secretary. They are helping Murphy to establish a half-zombie nation, using a large number of zombies as a wall around the city. Suddenly, a man rushes in seeking Murphy's help. Murphy finds that many people outside want to be bitten by him because being infected by Murphy means they won't be attacked by regular zombies. However, Murphy tells everyone that he has been drained of too much blood to make vaccines, leaving him too weak to infect more people and turn them into half-zombies. After returning to the base, Murphy talks with the lead doctor and senses that his body is continuing to mutate more like a zombie. The doctor produces a booster shot she developed to help Murphy. As long as he continues to take the injections, they will stop the mutation. Meanwhile, Murphy orders the mass production of a virus control drug. When no one is looking, the lead doctor administers the booster shot to the sniper, who collapses in pain and falls unconscious. While escaping, Roberta gets separated from the group and hides in a building. There, she finds an injured woman. When the woman wakes up, she informs Roberta that the Red Hand Gang plans to kill everyone here. Roberta asks her about the events that occurred here. The woman reveals that she was seriously wounded in a thieves' attack. Then the stranger arrives and discovers that the woman is a member of the Red Hand Gang. At this point, Roberta takes a gun and holds the stranger hostage to learn more about the situation. It turns out that the stranger is a thief, which is why the Red Hand Gang is after him. But the man explains that he had to steal food to survive. Suddenly, zombies burst in, and the mafia boss uses a box to kill the zombies. Meanwhile, Doc and others run to another building where they lay Addie, who is feeling unwell, on a table to rest. Addie has a severe tooth infection, and they prepare to pull out her infected tooth. But Addie, terrified, struggles continuously until the military officer knocks her out with a chokehold and pulls the infected tooth out with a wrench. Elsewhere, after the sniper regains consciousness, the lead doctor tells him that injecting the booster into a half-zombie will temporarily release them from Murphy's control, but will also make them vulnerable to zombie attacks. The doctor continues to secretly inject herself to avoid being permanently controlled by Murphy. She then gives several vials of the booster to the sniper and instructs him to find a car. The doctor prepares to destroy the virus control drug, and they plan to meet at the entrance and leave the half-zombie nation. The sniper quickly leaves to look for a car outside. Meanwhile, it's eerily quiet outside where Roberta is. She discovers that the Red Hand Gang has strapped bombs to zombies and launched an attack. The powerful explosion knocks Roberta unconscious, and she is only awakened by the mafia boss's shouts. As she comes to, zombies rush in, tearing at the mafia boss's clothes, unable to shake them off. More zombies surround them. Roberta, still dazed, misses several shots before finally managing to kill a zombie. The mafia boss takes down the last zombie. When the stranger emerges, he notices a tattoo on the mafia boss's arm that matches that of the Red Hand Gang leader and nervously raises his pistol. Over with the sniper, he places the booster on the car and then returns to the lab to inform the lead doctor that they are ready to leave for their happy life. But he notices new control bite marks on the doctor's face. Just then, Murphy appears, having already discovered their escape plan, and prepares to inject the control vaccine into the sniper. The sniper immediately jumps out the window onto the car below and hurries away with the booster, with Murphy's newly appointed state secretary closely behind. Meanwhile, the mafia boss is mistakenly identified as the leader of the Red Hand Gang. He explains that someone once copied his past self, which is why they have the same tattoos and brutal methods. However, the other doesn't believe his smelly bullshit and lunges forward with a knife, only to be pushed away by the mafia boss, stabbing the man in the throat, killing him. The man then reanimates as a zombie, and the mafia boss has no choice but to shoot him to end his misery. The stranger, enraged, prepares for revenge but is shot dead by the mafia boss. Time passes, and the lead doctor replicates a large amount of the control virus, allowing Murphy to infect people through the drug without needing to bite with his unbrushed teeth, attracting many to join the half-zombie nation as Murphy's subjects. The sniper flees to a bridge surrounded by zombies and eventually jumps off to escape, disappearing into the river below. On another front, the military officer finally removes Addie's decayed tooth, and Addie regains consciousness. The three go outside to check the situation and rejoin Roberta to head towards the next location. After a while, Murphy hears a strange noise while resting, looks out the window, and sees the lead doctor, using strong willpower to temporarily break free from mental control, walking among a crowd of zombies, ready to end herself. Murphy rushes to stop her from injecting the booster that would negate his virus, but it is too late. The zombies bite and kill the lead doctor. Sometime later, the sniper is washed ashore, waking up to find he has a severe stomach injury. He uses plants on the ground to stop the bleeding, worried about being caught by the zombie state secretary, and continues to flee to a farther location. Murphy watches the death of the doctor with deep sorrow. He orders his men to continue building their kingdom and to repair the electrical system. Meanwhile, the sniper hears the roaring of a beast and quickly hides nearby. The secretary comes to inspect the area. The sniper escapes into the river to evade capture and ends up lying on a piece of driftwood, floating down the river. After some time, he sneaks into the jungle for a rest. When he spots a survivor on a motorcycle, he ambushes and steals the Tesla bike, shooting zombies along the way. Suddenly, a rope is pulled taut across the path, tripping him and causing him to fall. The survivor knocks him out. When the sniper regains consciousness, he finds zombies attacking. He realizes he is chained and uses the chain to knock down the zombies, tightening the chain to strangle them. He picks up an iron disc from the ground and fights off the approaching zombies. The experienced sniper kills all the zombies but is exhausted. More zombies approach, and he lacks the strength to continue fighting. Just as he is about to be overwhelmed, the secretary appears, tackles the zombies aside, and drives them away. Discovering the sniper's abdominal wound, the secretary helps bandage it but then realizes the booster is missing. They follow footprints on the ground to track the thief. The sniper asks to stop by the river to drink water, secretly picks up a stone and knocks the secretary down, escaping immediately. The secretary isn't knocked out. He gets up and chases after the sniper. Soon, the sniper's wound reopens and he collapses in pain. The state secretary catches up, furious, believing that becoming a half-zombie should be considered an honor. Nearby, the thief encounters a terrifying monster. The man is hunted down and killed, while the woman escapes. After a while, Murphy undergoes a different mutation. He injects many boosters and slowly regains human genetics. Back to the sniper, they also encounter a terrifying monster and quickly flee. The sniper finds a woman hiding nearby. The monster turns to chase her. The sniper runs to the edge of a cliff, sees a dead animal, and quickly uses it for camouflage. The secretary, seeing the blood on the ground, believes the sniper was attacked and fell to his death in the valley. In reality, the sniper is just hiding below. After the secretary leaves, the sniper continues his escape to a farther location. Hearing the monster again, he picks up a rod for a weapon, sees the mutated zombies, and the monster devouring the woman, including her smelly part. The sniper fights with the rod, killing all the monsters. He discovers the woman has also turned into a zombie, kills her, and retrieves the stolen booster. As he prepares to leave, the sniper suddenly collapses in pain because the booster requires continuous injections to resist Murphy's control virus. After injecting the booster, the sniper immediately falls unconscious. After some time, Murphy devours the brain of the lead doctor. Through the connections of the brain cells, he acquires the medical knowledge that the doctor possessed. Murphy continues to consume more brains, learning how to produce boosters. When his secretary returns to the half-zombie kingdom and reports the sniper's death, Murphy insists that without seeing the body, the sniper couldn't possibly be dead. Concerned that their location might be discovered by Roberta, Murphy instructs his secretary to strengthen their defenses. Meanwhile, Doc has become separated from the group. He wanders around, calling out in search of Roberta and her companions. Suddenly, he is attacked by a man dressed as Elvis, who renders him unconscious using a guitar. When Doc regains consciousness, he finds himself in a psychiatric hospital, which seems unsafe due to the sounds of zombies outside. He tries to convince a nurse that he is a psychiatrist, but the nurse is skeptical. Eventually, Doc accurately diagnoses every patient's condition, earning the nurse's trust and getting his restraints removed. The nurse then informs him about a strange patient, leading Doc to discover that the sniper had also been brought here, which delights him greatly. However, the sniper is delirious and suddenly starts convulsing on the floor. Doc asks about the location of the medications, but they are in a zombie-infested area. He and Elvis venture into this area to retrieve the medications. Zombies suddenly emerge, craving any human ladies, but Doc uses an electric shock to kill them, successfully finding a large stash of medications. The nurse, growing impatient, decides to perform surgery on the sniper, believing that removing his brain could treat his condition. As Doc prepares to leave, an obsessive-compulsive patient slowly opens a door, allowing zombies to prepare an attack. Doc enters the operating room and finds the nurse covered in blood, but fortunately the sniper is unharmed. It was another patient who had undergone surgery. They quickly administer medication to the sniper, who regains consciousness only to pass out again. Once the sniper recovers, he informs Doc about Murphy's creation of a half-zombie kingdom. As the hospital springs into action, Doc secretly takes the sniper away, only to find the door surrounded by a horde of zombies about to break through. The nurse catches up and knocks both men unconscious, bringing them back inside. Angry at their escape attempt, she decides to perform a brain surgery on them. However, Doc convinces everyone to flee from the zombies. As the nurse is about to harm Doc, the patient who had surgery intervenes, killing the nurse and freeing them. Doc then leads everyone to escape from the hospital, with a massive horde of zombies in close pursuit. After successfully leaving the hospital, the group prepares to board a bus to leave the area. The sniper feels unwell, and zombies are close to catching up. The patients drive off, leaving the two men behind. At this moment, Doc notices bite marks on the sniper's neck and is deeply saddened. The sniper requests that no one be told about the bite marks. He doesn't want to be treated like Cassandra, who loses her ability to think independently. As zombies break through the door, Doc quickly helps the sniper escape. After a while, the kidnapper was held hostage by bandits. As the bandits fired their guns, the kidnapper simultaneously threw a dart, decapitating one of the bandits while effortlessly dodging the bullets. After disarming the bandit, he proceeded with his plan to abduct Murphy. Upon returning to his half-zombified kingdom, Murphy began to recruit more survivors. By merely cutting their arms and exposing them to Murphy's controlling virus, these individuals could become citizens of the kingdom, transforming into half-zombies who would no longer be susceptible to zombie attacks. The kidnapper stayed hidden, ready to secretly infiltrate the kingdom. Elsewhere, Doc was pushing the sniper along a highway when Roberta and her companions happened to drive by. They finally reunited and were overjoyed to see each other. Meanwhile, the kidnapper also became a citizen of the kingdom by undergoing the process of infection with the control virus. Murphy, watching from a building, spotted the kidnapper. After some time, the sniper regained consciousness and informed everyone about Murphy's establishment of the half-zombie kingdom and his numerous followers. They also learned that the lead doctor had died at Murphy's hands. Later, the group saw zombies tied to the side of a vehicle and suspected that the Red Hand gang was responsible for turning humans into zombies and brutally killing wrongdoers along the road. Turning to the communicator, the fangirl helped him repair the connection system. By reconnecting the satellite, they could use the NSA's system. Back to the sniper, Doc took him to a house and believed it was essential to tell everyone about the sniper being controlled. The sniper, feeling he had returned to normal, insisted on keeping his infection a secret. Soon, they heard a broadcast as a propaganda van passed by, inviting others to join. After some time, Murphy and his followers held a meeting to prioritize restoring power and training new recruits as warriors. Then, they brought the kidnapper forward, confirming the wound on his arm and concluding that he was infected with the control virus. The kidnapper declared that joining the kingdom was not part of his abduction mission and knelt down, willing to undergo any test. Murphy approached and demanded his bald brain. Suddenly, the kidnapper stood up, attacked a subordinate nearby, split his head with a knife, and offered the brain. Although Murphy was surprised, he also felt an appetite for the brain. Then, Murphy inquired about the alien zone, which was established by an infected scientist who had successfully developed a vaccine and was regarded as the savior. But recently, the vaccine began to fail, and the savior was dying. Murphy conducted a final test, ordering the kidnapper to eat the brain. The kidnapper took the brain and began to eat it. The followers downstairs called out to confirm everything was normal. When Murphy turned around, he found the brain completely eaten and ordered him to find more fresh brains. Later, the secretary returned upstairs, and Murphy reconfirmed the joining process. Unbeknownst to Murphy, the kidnapper wore a fake arm to avoid infection by the control virus and the loss of self-awareness. After coming out, the kidnapper felt nauseous and hid to vomit the eaten brain. On the communicator's side, the connection system was successfully repaired, and the communicator and his fangirl were thrilled very much. They then busied themselves with many hormone yoga sessions. Back to Roberta's side, the group caught up with the propaganda van, only to find it had already been attacked by the Red Hand gang and the driver was killed. The sniper informed everyone that Murphy planned to bring back his daughter. The military officer believed his daughter's blood could also be used to make a cure. Roberta decided to preemptively kidnap the little girl, instructing Doc and Addie to carry out the plan while others tried to capture Murphy. After a while, the kidnapper noticed a little girl in the kingdom and mistook her for Murphy's daughter. He kidnapped her and brought a brain as a gift for Murphy. Murphy, delighted, sent his subordinates away. Having lost interest in any other food, he eagerly began devouring the brain. At that moment, the kidnapper suddenly pulled a gun and held Murphy hostage, planning to take him away from the kingdom. Back with Roberta, her group arrived near the kingdom. However, the sniper got too close and began to fall under mental control, his consciousness gradually blurring. He secretly sought out a booster injection, but when he checked his bag, he found the booster was missing. In fact, Roberta had already noticed the sniper's unusual behavior. When the sniper tried to escape, the mafia boss caught him, and everyone then saw the bite wounds on him. The sniper quickly fled, with the mafia boss in hot pursuit. Meanwhile, the kidnapper tried to get Murphy into the car, but Murphy refused to leave his kingdom. He knew the kidnapper wouldn't shoot, as it would jeopardize the mission. However, the kidnapper revealed that he had captured Murphy's daughter and demanded Murphy's cooperation. Murphy, anxious, stepped forward to check and realized the girl was not his own daughter. Then the kidnapper was attacked by the little girl, and Murphy eventually captured him, handcuffed him, and questioned him about the alien zone. The kidnapper did not respond, angering Murphy, who continued his assault. The kidnapper pleaded with Murphy to go to the alien zone, promising that he could become a savior there too. Murphy, however, didn't believe the alien zone offered better prospects. Then a subordinate informed Murphy that the electricity had been restored. Murphy and his men left to check the high tower and fired a flare. The subordinates immediately powered up the electricity, and the city was instantly illuminated. Seeing the extensive power of Murphy's forces, Roberta realized she needed more manpower, as they currently had no way to breach Murphy's kingdom. Back at Murphy's side, his men cheered joyfully as the power was restored. Then, noticing blood on the ground, they hurried to check and found that the kidnapper had torn off his wrist to escape his bindings. Elsewhere, Doc's car broke down on the road when suddenly they heard music. It turned out to be the presidential motorcade. They approached to see what was happening and found the arms dealer sitting in the car. He gave them a lift to the next town. Upon arrival, the arms dealer disguised himself as the president, but when he entered a house, it was empty. Then he played some music and had a dancer perform, which brought the villagers out to see what the fuss was about. The village chief also came to meet them. The arms dealer declared himself the president, promising to rebuild the town and restore world peace. The villagers believed him, thinking he really was the president. Just then, a village woman approached the arms dealer, asking for help because her husband had been sick for a long time. She hoped to get some medical treatment. The arms dealer was only interested in the town's resources and didn't want to deal with any problems, so he sent her away. This made the village chief start to doubt the arms dealer's true identity. Doc stepped forward, offering to help the village woman. Upon seeing her husband, he noticed his eyes were an unusual color. The village chief then explained that many villagers had the same symptoms, which were untreatable. Doc also found out the village chief was infected. Meanwhile, the arms dealer, still posing as the president, announced plans to build a wall to keep the zombies out, promising safety to everyone. He asked for donations from the villagers to fund the construction. Just then, he was hit in the head by a stinky shoe. It turned out to be the real president, who exposed the arms dealer's scheme and informed everyone that he was the true president. Afterwards, the president had a private word with the arms dealer, scolding him for stealing his official car and taking the dancer away, which infuriated him. The arms dealer then pulled off the president's wig and threw it to a friend. While the president was trying to retrieve his wig, the arms dealer hurried outside to tell the villagers that to speed up the wall's construction, they needed to leave and start the work immediately. As the arms dealer was preparing to escape, the president came out to stop him, telling everyone he had a better plan. He called for a debate, and the winner would take the donated resources. The president asked Addie to moderate the debate, which she agreed to. As the debate started, both men attacked each other's political stances. Suddenly, a villager rushed in, saying the neighboring village had succumbed to a virus, turning them into zombies who now occupied the water source. Then villagers spotted zombies outside. Both the president and the arms dealer rushed to deal with them, each trying to prove they could protect the village. Addie also followed to ensure the zombies were killed. The arms dealer went inside and tried to shoot the zombies, but his gun jammed. The president's knife also fell. Luckily, Addie arrived in time to kill the zombie. Frightened, both men ran away. Addie prepared to chase the zombies, but was attacked and knocked down. The two men hid, unwilling to help, which symbolized that even those in power aren't necessarily capable of handling issues, nor willing to take risks. As Addie killed the zombie, both men quickly fled the scene. Later, the arms dealer told everyone he had killed all the zombies. The president wanted to reveal the truth, but the villagers believed the arms dealer and cheered happily. Then, they started voting to decide the winner of the debate. Doc was heading to the nearby town to investigate why the villagers were getting infected. Upon turning on the tap, he discovered the water was filthy. He approached the water tank suspecting an issue with the filter. Opening the tank, Doc reached inside to check and shockingly pulled out a zombie's head. Terrified, he threw the head away but had finally discovered the source of the virus. Sometime later, the debate was still ongoing. Just as the president was about to drink some water, Doc quickly intervened to stop him, informing everyone that the water tank was contaminated, which was why the villagers were contracting the strange virus. Suddenly, the village chief, who was infected, collapsed weakly. Everyone rushed to help her outside and tried to treat him. Then, inspired by a survival technique from a Daniel C.C. zombie movie, Doc crushed some charcoal, believing it could absorb the toxins. After the secretary ate the charcoal, his eyes began to change. Doc noticed the secretary's eyes clearing up and successfully treated him. Meanwhile, as the debate was about to conclude with voting, bandits suddenly burst in, holding everyone at gunpoint. The arms dealer immediately grabbed his weapon and a battle ensued. As Doc noticed a large horde of zombies approaching, he quickly took the village chief inside a house, with zombies close behind. The secretary told everyone to stop shooting each other and focus on eliminating the zombies. The dancer was attacked and turned into a dancing zombie. The villagers kept firing at the zombies. In the chaos, Doc and Addie swiftly left to continue their mission to find Murphy's daughter. They drove off in the presidential car, leaving the city. The arms dealer chased after them. As Doc was about to turn back, he accidentally crashed into a water tower. The president also came after them, trying to reclaim his car, but ended up falling into the mud. Everyone grappled, hindering each other from getting up, much like in politics, fighting over benefits and trying to smear each other. Disgusted by the political struggle, Doc and Addie chose not to get involved and left the scene to head to their next destination. After some time, the villagers finally eradicated the zombies, and the village chief used Doc's method to treat all the villagers. In the end, when the votes were cast, everyone voted for Doc. Meanwhile, Murphy was broadcasting globally, recruiting more survivors to join his half-zombie nation. Turning to Roberta, she was worried about Murphy expanding his influence and decided to act immediately. She planned to capture Murphy to facilitate the development of a vaccine. She sabotaged the outer wire fence and entered the nation alone. During this time, Murphy went to the restroom, unguarded by his men. Just as she was about to strike, she realized a horde of zombies was approaching and quickly hid her smell in the restroom. When Murphy came out and noticed something was amiss, his men informed him of an intrusion. They suspected the intruder might be hiding in the restroom, but when they opened the door, the intruder had already escaped, surrounded by zombies yet managing to react cleverly. Murphy believed it was Roberta's doing. Later, Roberta decided to seek out the Red Hand gang, hoping to ally with them to counter Murphy's forces. However, the mafia boss thought the gang's leader was a ruthless murderer and was worried about the danger. Just then, they heard a scream and rushed to check it out, discovering a group of car thieves who had just been executed by the Red Hand gang. As they were about to continue on, zombies suddenly emerged, and they shot them successfully. The military officer was almost overwhelmed by a zombie and nearly bitten, but luckily the shady man shot the zombie in a rescue. He approached Roberta for a chat, mentioning he specialized in rescuing survivors on the road. Roberta asked about the Red Hand gang, and the shady man agreed to take everyone to the gang's base to meet the leader. Upon reaching the Red Hand gang's base, they pulled open the iron gate and entered through a secret passage, hearing strange noises, soon realizing they were surrounded by severed zombie hands. Meanwhile, the sniper was captured and brought back to Murphy's kingdom. Murphy questioned him about Roberta's plan, but the sniper did not reveal anything about the Red Hand gang and was assigned to do menial work by Murphy. Roberta saw many criminals brutally bound and fixed to the wall. It turned out the shady man was also a member of the Red Hand gang. He activated an electric device that executed all the criminals, who then turned into zombies and launched an attack. Roberta and her group immediately eliminated the zombies. Many gang members came out with heavy guns and took everyone to meet the gang leader. After a while, Murphy heard a ringing phone and followed the sound. He found the phone in a box and realized it was the NSA communicator asking about the progress of a mission. However, Murphy stated that there was no need to develop a vaccine because he could save the world himself, and then cut the phone line. Roberta was brought to the hall to wait. It turned out that the leader of the Red Hand gang was actually the special agent. At that point, Roberta discovered that the special agent had lost his memory and mistakenly believed himself to be the mafia boss, the man who killed his own wife and child. He then locked everyone up in a cell, leaving only Roberta out to continue the conversation. Roberta indicated that they had once carried out missions together and mentioned that she had stitched up his wounds before. Just as she was about to initiate a hormone yoga session with the special agent, he suddenly pushed her heavy body away and locked her in the cell too. The mafia boss believed that the agent had gone mad, unable to move beyond the trauma of his family's death. Meanwhile, Roberta decided to find a way to bring the agent back to his senses. Otherwise, she would have no choice but to kill him to escape from the gang's base. At that moment, the mafia boss suddenly strangled Roberta into unconsciousness, intending to act alone to keep her out of danger. After some time, Roberta was awakened by the shady man, only to find out that the mafia boss had killed the guard and escaped from the cell. They were all brought back to the hall. Just as the special agent was about to start interrogating, the mafia boss burst in, attacking the members of the Red Hand gang. Having no weapons, the mafia boss was eventually subdued by the members. He then revealed the agent's past identity to him and spoke of the incident where his family was killed, awakening his painful memories. The agent then ordered that the mafia boss be released for a one-on-one fight. Both men, skilled in combat, wrestled their muscles fiercely. The agent's weapon was knocked away, but he had another hidden weapon. The mafia boss, fatally wounded, was about to die when Roberta, unnoticed, picked up a knife and stabbed the agent. She felt deeply sorry, but the agent finally recalled his past memories. He asked Roberta to help him end his misery to reunite with his deceased family. Roberta agreed and beheaded the special agent, allowing him to stop living in pain, haunted daily by the memory of his family's death. She then checked on the mafia boss's condition. Taking advantage of the mafia boss's impending death, Roberta tested the military officer's experimental vaccine on him. It didn't restore him, but prevented the death mutation. As their leader was killed, the gang members decided that Roberta should become their new leader. Meanwhile, Doc found the residence of Murphy's daughter and was preparing to sneak in when he was spotted by the foster mother. The foster father also appeared, holding both at gunpoint. Since both foster parents had been bitten by Murphy, they were under strict orders to ensure the daughter's safety. Soon enough, Doc and his companion were tied up in chairs, and the foster parents began to interrogate them about their purpose in coming. Addie informed them that they were sent by Murphy to take the daughter back to her father. Murphy's daughter was overjoyed at the prospect of meeting her father. Finally, the foster father mentioned that Murphy had given a password, and only someone who knew the password could take the girl away. Unable to answer, the duo was prepared to be executed when the girl changed her mind, asking them to stay and play with her. They were taken to the courtyard where many zombies were also present. Murphy's daughter also had the ability to control zombies like her father, treating them as friends to play with. She then suggested a game of hide and seek, appointing Doc as the seeker and controlling the zombies to hide. Elsewhere, the sniper was once again under Murphy's control. The repeatedly infected sniper had already lost his own consciousness. Murphy was testing the sniper's loyalty by having him play a knife-stabbing game, constantly increasing the game's speed. The sniper kept cutting his fingers, reassuring Murphy that he wouldn't resist. Subsequently, the sniper was assigned a secret mission. Sometime later, Doc began playing the game and noticed the hiding zombies were too frightened to approach. He then switched places with the foster mother to be the seeker. The zombies began to approach more aggressively, and Doc nearly got bitten. He quickly grabbed a rock and attacked the approaching zombies. The little girl found this amusing and came out to see, only to discover the zombies lying motionless on the ground, a sight she had never seen before, which angered her, and she ran away. The foster father and Addie quickly followed her, while Doc was taken back to the house to wait. The little girl, who had run into the woods, suddenly encountered a wild man. Thinking he was a zombie she couldn't control, she screamed in fear. Addie rushed to fight the wild man, picking up a large stick to drive him away. Seeing Addie's bravery, the foster father trusted her to ensure the little girl's safety and decided to let the girl go find her father. Meanwhile, the handless kidnapper found the little girl's residence. Doc was preparing the car when he noticed the foster parents hadn't come out. He went inside to check, only to find no one there. He walked to the backyard and found the foster parents sitting there, having been attacked. Doc quickly untied them. The foster parents, still alive, were furious, believing the attacker had come with Doc. The pursued Doc ran back to the front door and locked it, confining the foster parents inside. He then discovered Addie had also been attacked and was lying on the ground, injured but not dead. It turned out all the attacks were orchestrated by the kidnapper, who took the little girl and drove off. As Doc was preparing to leave with Addie, he saw the foster parents chasing them. He picked up a burning stick to draw their attention, then used it to kill the charging foster father. Before he could react, the foster mother tackled him to the ground, preparing to strangle him. However, the revived Addie attacked from behind, killing the foster mother and saving Doc's life. As the kidnapper was driving, the little girl kept asking numerous questions, annoying him immensely. He used a stun gun on her, but due to her unique physiology, she was unaffected and even became excited, leaving the kidnapper dumbfounded. He increased the voltage, but she remained unaffected, prompting him to angrily demand that she quiet down. After some time, Addie finally recovered from her injuries. The two decided to split up, sending Doc back to find Roberta for help, while Addie continued to track the little girl's whereabouts. Back on Murphy's side, he suddenly felt unwell. It turned out that his daughter's reactions were physically affecting him. As his daughter was being subdued, Murphy also felt discomfort. After a struggle, the kidnapper finally untied her and warned her to cooperate obediently. Meanwhile, Doc followed the radio signal to find a castle. When he approached and entered, he encountered unusual zombies adorned with an abundance of gemstones. Doc quickly opened fire, but the gems deflected the bullets. The zombies rushed to attack, and terrified, Doc immediately fled for his shitty life. Eventually cornered, he had no choice but to pull out his weapon to flex his fighting skill. However, he missed all and was knocked to the ground, overwhelmed by the number of zombies. Just then, a drumbeat distracted the zombies, who were trained to follow the commands of 3 hot women. These women then took Doc inside the hot castle and treated his cold wounds. When Doc woke up, he was tenderly cared for by the hot women. Realizing he needed to find Roberta, he quickly got up to leave. The women mentioned that there was a radio inside the castle, but Doc decided to first try contacting the communicator. The 4 of them went to the signal tower to send a message, but despite repeated attempts, they received no response. While testing, the hot women stayed by Doc's side, stroking him in hopes of quickly sending the signal. A misunderstanding, as the signal wire was in fact not connected. Eventually, the device ran out of power and could no longer be used. The hot women informed Doc that power outages were occasional, and they had to stay closer to keep hot and warm, and that they would have to wait until the next day to try contacting again. When it was time for dinner, the hot women informed him that everything in the castle was handmade by the 3 sisters, who also grew many fruits and vegetables, and they hosted a hot meal for Doc. During the meal, one of the hot women stretched out her stinky foot to massage Doc's outdated legs, relaxing his muscles. They also mentioned they played many musical instruments and could perform to ease his tension. After quickly finishing his meal, Doc prepared to play a hormone hide and seek game with them. When he heard animal noises in the backyard, he discovered that zombies were being kept as pets. The hot women, armed and feeding the zombies, surprised Doc with their method of controlling the zombies using powerful electric shocks. Later at night, everyone showcased their TikTok talents, creating a hot atmosphere to please Doc. However, worried about his mission to save Murphy's daughter, Doc quickly returned to his room to rest, planning to use the communication device the next day. As he lay in bed, he heard the door handle turn. When he got up to check, a hot woman suddenly entered, bringing him a glass of milk to drink for hormone energy refreshing before bed. After she left to rest, the door opened again. Another hot woman came in to read him a bedtime hormone story. After she left, and as Doc was about to sleep, the last hot woman burst in with a weapon, frightening Doc into pleading for his dying life. She explained that she had only come to bring him a self-defense weapon. After she left the room, Doc blocked the door in fear, worried about another intrusion, and spent the night unable to sleep. After some time, the hot women still barged in. They were dressed provocatively, pressuring Doc from all sides and intending to dry the old man up. The next morning, Doc, wearing his smelly pajamas, found himself lucky to survive last night's hormone attack. While washing his face in the bathroom, he discovered a human finger in the sink. Just then, the radio crackled to life with the voice of the NSA communicator. Doc immediately went to the signal tower to test it, only to find it could only receive signals. Upon inspecting the equipment, he discovered the wires had been damaged. At that moment, the hot women rushed over, seeing Doc had uncovered the truth. Frightened, Doc quickly ran away for his shitty life, dodging the 3 hot women's hot pursuit. When he reached the exit, he was met with a horde of zombies. He retreated back inside, and upon a closer inspection of the furniture, he realized everything was made of human skin. Doc continued to hide deeper inside, finding a secret basement where many survivors were tied up. As he was helping to pry open the handcuffs, he heard the hot women approaching. Doc handed a weapon to the survivors and fled the scene super fast like lightning despite his old age. Back in the living room, the hot women, now fully armed, advanced to attack. Doc fought back as one used a nail gun to shoot gems into his chest, preparing to kill him without hormone mercy. Just then, the survivors from the basement surged forward and launched an attack. Doc quickly left, and upon reaching the door, created a knocking sound to let the zombies into the house, buying more time. He then ran back to the signal tower and locked the door behind him. After reconnecting the wires, he began to contact the communicator and successfully discussed the events, including his hormone encounter with the Hot Three. Doc informed the communicator to send Roberta for support. However, the dreadful women had already eliminated everyone and surrounded the signal tower, demanding Doc to surrender. But Doc refused to comply. The women were forced to break the door lock. Upon entering, they found Doc had climbed high up the tower. The women stayed outside, keeping the zombies at bay while Doc climbed onto a metal pole to avoid pursuit. When a zombie tried to retaliate, it was easily subdued by the women, who forced it to obey commands. Doc, realizing he was not far from the city walls, decided to kick away the fixed ropes, swinging the pole until it began to crack and eventually collapsed over the wall. He was flung outside and finally managed to escape the terrifying hot castle. Seeing zombies preparing to pursue, mistaking him for a hot young girl, Doc quickly ran away fast like a chicken riding a Tesla bike. Elsewhere, the communicator detected the signal and found that the kidnapper was still outside, believing that Murphy's daughter hadn't been sent to the alien zone yet, so there was still a chance to save her. He then boarded an airplane, determined to meet up with everyone to assist in the mission to save humanity. Afterward, Doc saw a zombie riding a bicycle stuck in a tree on the road. He approached and killed the zombie, took the bicycle, and completed the task of sending the signal, then hurried to meet up with Addie. On the side of the three hot women while tidying up the castle, they found Doc's dropped beard, delightedly keeping it as a souvenir to remember the only man who had escaped. Addie arrived at a gas station and saw many zombies that had been killed on the ground, thinking there might be a clue about Murphy's daughter. She got out of the car, easily killed the zombies with her big stick, and found the kidnapper's car, but it was empty. Discovering a mark left by the little girl, she used the direction indicated by the dead zombies to continue her pursuit on the bicycle. Back with Roberta, she led the members of the Red Hand gang to scout the perimeter of the half-zombie kingdom using telescopes. They discovered that Murphy's forces were too formidable for a frontal assault. Meanwhile, the sniper was hiding in an alley, observing many members of the Red Hand gang, including Roberta. After a group of zombies passed by, he stealthily followed them, but Roberta had already detected him and ambushed the sniper, knocking him unconscious and taking him away. After some time, everyone discussed the attack plan and decided to sabotage the dam's equipment to disrupt the hydroelectric power system. As the sniper slowly regained consciousness, Roberta questioned his purpose for being there. However, the sniper was uncooperative. In her fight against Murphy, Roberta decided to be firm, attempting to awaken the sniper to no avail. She then found mission details on him, revealing that his task was to kidnap her and take her back. At this point, Roberta decided to administer another booster shot due to the sniper's repeated infections, though she worried about the potential toll on his body. Eventually, Roberta forcibly injected the booster into him. Suddenly, a severed hand was thrown at them, and Murphy appeared, having already discovered the group's location. When a gang member tried to resist, Murphy's men quickly shot him dead, and all members were subdued. Following this, Murphy invited everyone to become citizens of the half-zombie kingdom, but Roberta refused, not wanting to be permanently under his control. Murphy explained that many attempts to create a zombie vaccine had failed and believed that becoming a half-zombie was the only way to escape the danger and safely survive in the world. However, Roberta only wanted Murphy to provide more blood to allow the military officer to attempt to develop a cure for the zombie infection. Murphy, no longer trusting humanity, refused her request and took the sniper back to his kingdom, leaving Roberta and her group at the scene. The military officer believed that if they could break into the kingdom's lab, they might find the key to creating a cure. Elsewhere, Murphy's men inspecting the dam were attacked by the Red Hand gang. A lady minion was subdued, and other members drove zombies into the water to block the hydroelectric power equipment. The system was compromised by the zombies, and the city's power supply began to slowly fail. The kingdom began recruiting a large number of citizens and armed them to strengthen the perimeter defenses. Roberta and her group moved along the road. They noticed the streetlights flickering. The military officer, understanding the code, found a roadside communication device and successfully contacted the fangirl who was about to relay important information when suddenly the power went out. The power generation equipment had been damaged, and even Murphy could no longer produce more of the control virus. Subsequently, Murphy summoned all his men to launch an operation plan, sending the sniper and a repairman to fix the power system. After some time, the sniper arrived at the power station but was suddenly attacked. He quickly took cover. A fierce exchange of gunfire ensued. Amidst the chaos, the repairman stressed the urgency of fixing the system, warning that any delay could cause permanent damage. Meanwhile, a horde of zombies was closing in from behind. The worried repairman stepped forward, shouting that he was just there to repair the equipment, but he was tragically shot dead by the Red Hand gang. The sniper retaliated instantly, killing one of the gang members but also getting hit in the shoulder, causing him intense pain. As he prepared to advance, he was attacked by zombies. Fortunately, the booster shot administered by Roberta previously neutralized Murphy's virus. Seeing the zombies swarm, the Red Hand gang quickly retreated. At this moment, the two siblings appeared, successfully rescuing the sniper while the brother helped by shooting zombies. They all hurried to escape the pursuing zombies. On another front, Murphy's lady minion was released back to the kingdom, her body covered in fresh human blood. The gate guards rushed out to rescue her while she was bound with ropes. The shady man activated a switch, slowly retracting the ropes to pull her back to the vehicle. Roberta also arrived at the scene, preparing to infiltrate the kingdom. As the Red Hand gang launched an attack, the shady man had no choice but to release the lady minion and take cover. She was dragged beside the vehicle and immobilized. As both sides exchanged gunfire rather than kisses, Murphy employed mind control, inciting all his minions to bravely fight. Meanwhile, Roberta successfully infiltrated the kingdom and directed the military officer to search for the lab. As Roberta entered the room, she was suddenly confronted by the kingdom's secretary's wife, who brandished a gun and demanded that Roberta leave immediately. Unfazed, Roberta attacked, and during the ensuing struggle, the wife was killed and died, but not before she revealed that Murphy had always deeply loved Roberta, leaving her profoundly shocked. Nonetheless, Roberta proceeded with her plan and extracted the woman's brain. Elsewhere, Murphy, observing the battle from above, used his control again, causing the zombies to go berserk and break through the fences to attack the Red Hand gang. They quickly activated traps, severing the zombies' legs. Meanwhile, the bound lady minion was bitten to death by zombies. As the zombies swarmed in large numbers, the shady man remained unafraid of their bites and continued to fight back, while other members of the Red Hand gang were also continually shot. At that moment, Roberta found the room where Murphy was located. Murphy expressed that there was no need for further conflict, claiming that the half-zombie kingdom had already saved the future of humanity. It was then that Roberta pulled out a human brain she had just extracted, which triggered Murphy's appetite. Meanwhile, the military officer was preparing to remove the experimental equipment. The sniper arrived at the scene and, in a moment of confusion, held the military officer at gunpoint. Soon after, the sniper regained his senses, admitting to being mentally disoriented. The girl he had saved previously arrived and kissed him, bringing him back to consciousness. The sniper revealed that all the vaccines were hidden in a safe, so the girl opened the safe and finally obtained Murphy's blood, just as other henchmen arrived, holding everyone at gunpoint. Murphy couldn't resist the temptation and consumed the human brain. Roberta began to doubt that Murphy was interested in creating a future for humanity rather than an endless supply of brains for him to eat. She then began an attack on Murphy, knocking him to the ground. However, Murphy suddenly counterattacked, overpowering Roberta and attempting to bite her to turn her into a half-zombie. Roberta managed to free herself by attacking Murphy's groin and then pulled out a gun to hold him at bay. The little girl suddenly appeared, protecting Murphy's safety, with other henchmen also arriving at the scene. With her plan failed, Roberta felt utterly desperate. Just then, a plane appeared outside. It turned out to be the NSA communicator flying in to meet everyone. Roberta suggested he might bring news of Murphy's daughter and quickly dispatched everyone to assist the communicator. After the plane successfully landed, everyone gathered together. The communicator informed them that Murphy's daughter had been kidnapped. Murphy was extremely worried, but the communicator had intercepted the kidnapper's signal, so he knew where Murphy's daughter was being taken. Murphy then asked for Roberta and her group's help to rescue his daughter and prevent her from being taken to the alien zone. Eventually, both sides reached an agreement, with Murphy willing to hand over his blood. After a while, the communicator contacted the fangirl to confirm the coordinates where the kidnapper was headed. Everyone prepared to depart to rescue Murphy's daughter. Meanwhile, the fangirl informed them that she was pregnant with the communicator's child, which made him incredibly excited. Murphy took many of his henchmen and assigned his state secretary the temporary task of running the kingdom. The surviving members of the Red Hand gang were also infected with Murphy's virus, making the half-zombie kingdom the most formidable power at present. The secretary then informed everyone about his wife's disappearance. Murphy, wishing to keep his plans on track, concealed the news of his wife's death. The group then quickly set off on a rescue mission. On the other side, Addie saw a car parked nearby and thought it was the vehicle the kidnapper had switched to along the way. She touched the hood of the car to check its temperature, confirming that the switch had occurred not long ago. Meanwhile, the zombies along the roadside were under Murphy's daughter's control, pointing out the direction the kidnapper had taken. Following these clues, Addie pressed forward. She followed the clues to a port area and spotted the kidnapper's car. Approaching the vehicle, she discovered Murphy's daughter playing with a box of matches near a gas station, surrounded by many zombies. Addie quickly intervened to stop the little girl, but after reuniting, the girl didn't want to leave and continued to play games with the zombies. The girl then used the zombies to force Addie to leave. Left with no choice, Addie threatened to shoot the zombies unless she complied. Finally, the little girl agreed to leave. Just as they were preparing to leave, the kidnapper, who had gone to fetch gasoline, appeared and blocked their escape. He immediately attacked, knocking Addie to the ground. Watching the fight, the girl controlled a large group of zombies to launch an attack, forcing both adults to fight off the advancing zombies. After clearing the area of zombies, their struggle resumed. In the midst of this, the girl picked up a gun and watched from a safe distance. The strong kidnapper easily overpowered Addie and coerced her to stop resisting, threatening to kill her if she didn't. At that moment, the girl threw a lit match in front of the kidnapper, saving Addie and quickly fleeing the scene. Addie followed, with the kidnapper in hot pursuit. Soon, a large horde of zombies appeared and surrounded Addie, who hurriedly ran onto a boat to escape the zombie attack. The ropes securing the boat caught fire, and not seeing Addie, the girl picked up a severed hand and started to gnaw on it. Mid-bite, the kidnapper stopped her and took her away from the scene. The flames spread to the boat, and as zombies surrounded it, Addie broke a side door to escape. Shortly after her escape, the boat exploded. Following the escape, Addie found the severed hand on the ground, still under the girl's control, pointing in the direction the kidnapper had taken. It seemed Murphy's daughter could control zombies simply by biting them. Before leaving the port, Addie left a mark as a signal for Doc to take notice. Later, using her mental control over the zombies, the little girl led Addie through a shortcut to set up an ambush. Meanwhile, as the kidnapper drove, he was blocked by a car. Preparing to get out and investigate, Addie shot him in a surprise attack, knocked him to the ground, and quickly drove away from the scene. Elsewhere, Doc arrived at the port and noticed the mark left by Addie. Seeing the severed hand pointing in her direction, he quickly hopped on his bicycle and set off. After a while, Addie reached a clothing store to pick out new clothes for the little girl. During this time, the girl asked about her mother. Addie then revealed that her mother had died a long time ago. However, the girl refused to believe this, thinking her mother might still be alive. Her emotional state caused more zombies to approach, and finally she hid in the changing room, unwilling to leave. The kidnapper slowly regained consciousness, fortunate to be wearing a bulletproof vest. The bullet had only lodged in his skin. After removing the bullet, he hurriedly turned to search for Murphy's daughter. Meanwhile, Addie had just explained the circumstances of the girl's mother's death. The little girl, possessing antibodies, couldn't understand everyone's behavior and believed that zombies also had consciousness and shouldn't be killed by humans. It turned out the girl could access zombies' memories and understand their lives before their transformation. Spending too much time in the clothing store allowed the kidnapper to catch up. When he tried to grab the girl, she attempted to bite him, frightening him into letting her go, and she immediately ran away with everyone else in pursuit. They ended up at the riverbank with no escape routes. The kidnapper moved forward to take her away, and Addie's sneak attack was easily dodged. Enraged, the kidnapper launched a series of attacks, overpowering and breaking Addie's arm, then dragging her towards the river to drown her. The little girl urgently intervened, indicating her willingness to cooperate with the kidnapper, who then continued driving her away from the scene. After driving for a while, the little girl started acting up again and left the car, controlling nearby zombies. Even the formidable kidnapper was wary of getting bitten. He told the girl they'd look for chocolate, which calmed her down enough to leave with him. Addie managed to crawl back to the shore, but zombies slowly followed her. With one arm, she crawled away, but her injuries were severe, limiting her mobility. Hiding behind a tree, she used the last of her strength to wield a large stick and kill the approaching zombies. Enduring severe pain, she forcefully realigned her dislocated shoulder by hitting a tree. Later, the kidnapper reached a supermarket but couldn't find any chocolate, which infuriated the girl. She then controlled zombies to threaten the kidnapper to leave, but the kidnapper threatened to eliminate all zombies. After communicating with them, the girl learned the zombies were willing to sacrifice themselves to protect her. As she prepared to leave the supermarket, she bit a sidekick zombie to gain permanent control and left the scene. She then got into a car, accessed a zombie's memories to learn how to drive, and prepared to leave. The kidnapper tried to block her, but the girl didn't stop and ran into him. On the way back, the girl stopped the car upon seeing Addie, but the kidnapper, not fatally injured, clung to the underside of the car and held Addie at gunpoint. Although he didn't want to kill humans, he gave Addie a chance to stop chasing them. Severely injured, Addie could only watch as the kidnapper drove away from the scene. After some time, Addie slowly regained her strength, but the motorcycle was damaged and wouldn't start. Just then, a car approached from behind. She approached with a gun, pulled a woman out of the car, and successfully hijacked the vehicle to make her escape. Along the way, she encountered Doc and quickly stopped to check on him. The two were finally reunited and continued their journey together. As they drove, they were stunned to see the sidekick zombie ahead, waving down cars. On a closer inspection, they realized he was controlled by Murphy's daughter. Doc found sunglasses in the drawer and put them on the zombie, making him look less frightening. On Roberta's journey, the car broke down. After repairing it and contacting the fangirl, she learned that the kidnapper had changed their destination. She informed the main group of the new coordinates, and they quickly hit the road again. Meanwhile, Murphy's daughter in the car focused her consciousness and began transmitting new information about their route to the sidekick zombie. During the drive, the sniper suddenly stopped the car. Everyone hurriedly got out to check and found the sniper in agony, suffering from an infected gunshot wound in his arm. Since the Murphy virus treatment had lost its effectiveness, his healing abilities had weakened. The kidnapper finally reached the destination, speeding into a hidden tunnel in the mountain wall and arriving at the Alien Zone's mobile station, preparing to hand over Murphy's daughter. However, the base was deserted. Suddenly, a strange zombie appeared and attacked, prompting the kidnapper to shoot it dead. The little girl was shocked to find she couldn't control these zombies. Just as more zombies attacked, soldiers from the Alien Zone arrived and killed all the zombies. The kidnapper asked about the situation. It turned out the doctor from the Alien Zone had developed a vaccine that was slowly failing, causing soldiers and residents to mutate into zombies. This vaccine also made them immune to the little girl's psychic control. The kidnapper ordered the soldiers to contact the Alien Zone to send a plane to pick up Murphy's daughter. Later, Doc also reached the mountain wall, but couldn't enter to find the little girl. Addie decided to climb the wall while Doc waited outside. After a long wait, he saw many soldiers parachuting from the sky, preparing to land. Nearby, more troops from the Alien Zone appeared, taking Doc hostage and handcuffing him. These were also soldiers who had been injected with the experimental vaccine. As the troops entered the landing station, they were attacked by zombies. Taking advantage of the distraction, Doc knocked a soldier down. The soldier got up and started attacking Doc, but the sidekick zombie quickly broke the handcuffs and attacked, helping Doc eventually kill the soldier. The soldiers who lost their immunity turned into zombies and rushed out. Just then, Roberta arrived, and they all opened fire, eliminating all the zombies. As Doc got up, the sidekick zombie was shot, mistakenly thought to be just another zombie. At that moment, Murphy sensed that his daughter was inside the landing station, prompting everyone to rush in to search for her. Meanwhile, the kidnapper waited for the plane from the Alien Zone to arrive and ordered the soldiers to guard the area and eliminate any intruders. The little girl was overwhelmingly distressed, worried that she might be killed. The kidnapper reassured her, promising to protect her safety as they moved to the top floor. Roberta cautiously advanced to investigate and noticed that many soldiers were also stationed nearby. She decided to first move the sniper to a safe room. At that moment, the military officer explained that she had analyzed Murphy's data, revealing that Murphy had already undergone a process akin to death after being bitten by a zombie before the vaccine took effect. She believed that by using the same method, they could obtain antibodies like Murphy's to save the dying sniper. Once ready, they immediately executed the sniper, allowing Murphy to bite him while also injecting a booster. However, the sniper didn't wake up initially. Murphy concentrated on sensing, but didn't detect any signs of life, leaving everyone saddened. After a short while, the sniper suddenly awoke, and the girl joyfully embraced him. But sensing his missing daughter's panic, Murphy quickly continued on the rescue mission. Addie continued climbing to the summit. To reduce the obstacles of climbing, she reluctantly threw her heavy stick instead of her heavy body down the mountain and kept climbing. After a while, everyone successfully reached the top. Murphy finally saw his daughter, but they were at a standoff with guns drawn. Doc told the little girl that Murphy was her real father. At that moment, the girl pleaded for no one to shoot and hurt each other. Just as the kidnapper was about to lower his weapon, Murphy shot and wounded him. The girl rushed forward to embrace her father joyfully. While everyone was distracted, the kidnapper suddenly attacked and took Roberta hostage, demanding everyone to drop their weapons, but he would keep his own. Enraged, Murphy prepared to attack, but Roberta quickly broke free. As Murphy fought, he displayed his formidable mutant abilities and overpowered the kidnapper. The kidnapper jumped aside, picked up a pistol, and fired to flex his shooting skill. The bullet went through Murphy, hitting Roberta in a smelly spot. Both fell to the ground, severely injured, and the little girl screamed in distress. Doc's pistol jammed at the critical moment, just like his old life, and he was knocked down by the kidnapper. As the little girl was taken away, others also arrived at the scene. Just then, Addie finally climbed up, and coincidentally, the alien zone's aircraft also arrived. Addie rushed forward and jumped off the mountain with the kidnapper. Worried about Addie's safety, the little girl also jumped down, and the boy quickly followed to help. Finally, the aircraft from the alien zone fired a special light beam, bringing Season 3 of this drama to a close. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.